Hello there. Hope you are having a great day today. We are going to be looking today at Exodus chapter 30, and we are continuing to talk about different things related to the tabernacle. And today we are looking at the incense altar. Have any of you ever burned incense? I don't know why this is kind of a side note, but whenever I've burned incense, it kind of makes me feel like a hippie. But anyway, there was actually a purpose in biblical times for incense. We see about plans for the incense altar. We also read about an annual ceremony called the Day of Atonement. Now, on this day, a sacrifice was actually made for the sins of the entire Israelite nation. The high priest was the only one who could enter the most holy place in the tabernacle. And we are given specific directions in this chapter also about anointing oil. So even though these ceremonies and rituals are not necessary today, practicing them or recognizing or observing them does point our focus to Jesus and God and their ultimate sacrifices. I'm actually doing a Bible study right now with a group of ladies, and it's really interesting how we view the Bible differently than the culture it was written in. And we're learning a lot of things about viewing the Bible through a Western lens, which is our culture, how we see things, and viewing the Bible through the lens of the Israelites. And it's really interesting because often when we read the Bible, our first focus is us. Me, 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 me. That's the focus of our culture. But in Israel, the focus when they read the Bible, or even when they were writing the Bible, was not on themselves, but on God and on Jesus. So by remembering some of these rituals they did and the different things as far as the planning, it turns our eyes away from us and back to God and Jesus. Things like incense could be viewed as prayers floating up to God. And I know in the Catholic Church, I'm not Catholic, but I've watched some Catholic things, and you'll see priests with like the little, to me it looks like a lantern that they wave back and forth, and it has incense. And this was actually representing prayers floating up to God. It was burned continually, just as we should have a continual or constant connection to God. Things we can focus on primarily from this chapter include things like reminders for us to have that continual connection with God through prayer. I think sometimes we put things in a box and we feel like that we can only pray if we're sitting still, or we can only pray if it's quiet. You can pray and have a connection with God anytime, anywhere. I pray a lot of times when I'm driving, when I'm in the shower, when I'm on an airplane. You can pray anytime, anywhere. And just keeping, maybe you need to make yourself a sticky note reminder or something that will remind you that you can pray and be connected to God anytime. And something else that really helps is asking when you pray for God to help you to remember staying connected with Him. So just a few interesting thoughts today for Exodus chapter 30. If you've not already had a chance to read that, I encourage you to do so. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.